2024. We are live talking about the Critics' Choice Awards, which is tonight. I voted for the winners a week ago, Friday, had my votes locked in. The winners will be revealed tonight. We're going to talk box office for this Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, how a bunch of new movies did, including the Mean Girls remake, Broadway musical Infusion. I saw it the other night. Not a huge fan of it. We'll talk about that. The Beekeeper, Jason Statham, a pretty generic, bad, ultra-violent action movie. We'll talk about how that did at the box office and more. I've got my pal Joe Gardner here with me because Soul got re-released in theaters the other day. Disney decided, you know what, we're going to put in theaters the three Pixar animated movies that couldn't go to theaters nationwide in the pandemic years. Soul, Turning Red opens Feb 9, I believe, and Luca March 22, I think. So Soul is the first. Unfortunately, Soul didn't make a lot of money, just about $500,000, counting the money they're estimating for tomorrow. But, you know, in the end, this is more about the act of doing this. Disney saying, hey, we appreciate all the work that you do, folks at Pixar. Yeah, they're going to let some people go, unfortunately, later this year. We appreciate the work that you did. It is time to put these movies finally in theaters. They deserve to be seen on the big screen no matter how many people go. Soul's a 3-year-old movie. It's been on Disney Plus for more than 3 years. So it only made, what, $429,000, $557,000 for the 4-day. Not a lot of people are going to see Soul. But it's about these movies getting the theatrical runs, whether they're a week, whether 5 people show up in the theater the whole weekend, whatever the case may be. It's about putting them in the theaters. I think the other 2 movies are going to make more money because I think the promotion will be a little different going into the other 2. And I don't think quite as many people have watched them on Disney Plus. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think quite as many people as Soul. Soul was the first. Soul had to go to Disney Plus. As I've said from the beginning, Soul was the only movie out of those 3 Pixar movies that should have and had to go to Disney Plus because Christmas 2020, no families wanted to go to the theaters. I think Luca should have gone to theaters in June of 21, and Turning Red should have gone to theaters in March of 22. But now they finally are, and we will see how they do. But I'm at least glad that Soul, from Pete Docter, it won the Oscar for Best Animated Feature, is getting the theatrical run that it deserved from the beginning. And we'll see how many people go see Turning Red and Luca. I have my Critics' Choice Awards sweatshirt hoodie on. I like it a lot. I got this 2 years ago. That was the last time I went to the Critics' Choice Awards. It was a fun show. I met Will Smith 2 weeks before the slap, so that was kind of interesting to think about. And tonight is the Critics' Choice Awards 29th annual. This was 27th annual. 29th annual show. It's on the CW, or as it's just called now, CW. They got rid of the "the." Did you hear about that? They got rid of the "the" from the CW. So it's just called CW, and it's tonight at 7 o'clock. I'll give you some thoughts, some predictions, some of my favorite performances, movies, coming up here on LCJ Live. If you're watching on YouTube Live, thank you. You can send in your questions and your comments. So I saw Mean Girls the other night. Here's the thing about the Mean Girls movie, which opened number 1 with $28 million, $32 million they're looking at for Paramount for the 4-day. This is a movie that was originally going to go to Paramount Plus, so Paramount is like, yes, we put this in theaters, it's making money, yes. The experience of it, if you remember the 2004 Mean Girls movie, remember how witty it was, how quick it was, how interesting the performances, the humor, the commentary from Tina Fey, all that is gone in this new one. Replaced with a bunch of songs, most of which, nearly all of which are not great, not memorable. The lyrics, no. The melodies, This Mean Girls movie, it just drags out the experience. I mean, so many Broadway musicals accentuate emotions, and that's what the problem I have with some Broadway musicals. Some can do it really well, but sometimes you just over-the-top emotions of what characters are feeling, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's too much. If I had to hear an 8th song about Regina George, oh my gosh, it's just over and over again the same stuff over this Mean Girls movie with not much to say, and it feels dated. It does not feel updated to 2024. It still feels like 2004, but even like 2012 with some of the updates it tries to have. Nah, it's a mess. It is a mess, which is too bad because I was expecting to have fun. There's only one moment in the movie when I legitimately smiled. If you've seen it, you know what it is. I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen the Mean Girls movie yet. But there's only one moment where that happened, and I was like, wow, okay, this is a moment. The rest of this movie is completely forgettable. The cinema score was a B. Lots of people, I think, are going to be surprised if they go into this not knowing it's a musical, and they're going to walk out going, was that really necessary? That's the Mean Girls movie musical for you. It is a slightly better movie than The Beekeeper, which opened number 2 with 16.8 million, 4-day, just under 20, about 19.2. And I think Amazon MGM is going to greenlight Beekeeper 2 right away. Tuesday morning, even tomorrow morning, boom, we're going to do Beekeeper 2. Gotta be, because this is a much better number than I think we all expected. It's a terrible film. It is just the same old ultra violence, the same old Jason Statham, nothing new. Some elements from John Wick, elements from Bullet Train, which I didn't care for, elements from some other Equalizer, of course, and nothing new, nothing original, nothing fun. Some weird choices with the story. A couple moments I was like, what's going on here? Yeah, Beekeeper, number 2. Number 3 is Wonka with 8.4 million. Wonka is up to 176.2. It is going to make a run at 200. It's going to try. The problem is it's not going to get a Best Picture Oscar nomination, so that boost is not going to help. But there's not a lot of competition over the next couple weeks until Argyle, so Wonka could have steady drops. It will try to get to 200. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, back in 2005 for Warner Brothers, made 206.5. Maybe this Wonka will try to get to 206.5. Next up is Anyone But You with $6.9 million. It is just printing money. Week after week, young people are still going to this movie. It has passed No Hard Feelings, the Jennifer Lawrence movie, to be Columbia's 4th biggest movie of the year. And it's going to be number 3 when it gets past Napoleon, which is at 61.2. I think that's going to happen. It needs about 6 million. I think it'll do that. 55.2 right now for Anyone But You. What a surprise. Probably the biggest box office surprise of the Christmas to New Year's section. Boys in the Boat, runner-up, but I got to give the award to Anyone But You. Nobody thought this movie was going to make this money and have these small drops or increases week after week and do as well as it has. Congrats to Anyone But You, a film I do not care for, but hey, people are going to the movies. Families are still going. They're going to see Migration, which is in 5th this weekend with 6.2. It is at 85.8. It'll make another probably 2.5 tomorrow with the kids off of school for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And, oh, there goes Joe. There goes Joe. Bye, Joe. Joe went into the Soul universe. Remember in the movie when he goes, he sees the slide walk and he goes, that's where Joe just went. Bye, Joe. Let's see. So, Migration, 6.2, 85.8. Yeah, it'll make a little more tomorrow for the holiday. And then... Again, no huge theatrical animation competition. Yeah, Turning Red opens Feb 9, but it's not going to make a lot, probably, as we just experienced with Soul. Kung Fu Panda 4, March 8. So this is probably going to play for several more weekends. Next up is Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom with 5.3 million. It has passed The Flash. It's now the 3rd biggest Warner Brothers movie of the year. It's at 108.2, and I don't see it getting to 120 at this point. Night Swim had a huge drop. It opened low, but when you go from 12 to 4.7, when you go from 2nd to 7th place, that's a drop. Night Swim 4.7. By the end of the day tomorrow, it'll be at 20 million. I think Universal and Blumhouse wanted more. I just don't think the interest is there for Night Swim compared to Megan this time last year, which had a 30 million open and a $95 million total. A film called Gunter Karam opened in 8th with 4.1 million bucks. It's pretty good, you know. It's a film that I saw was playing in a bunch of theaters around the country, and it had a $2 million start after Friday, total 4.1. Not bad for Gunter Karam. Next up, The Boys in the Boat, 3.5 million. It's going to hit 40 million tomorrow. Amazon MGM happy about this. They're happy about The Beekeeper. They're happy about American Fiction, sort of. But The Boys in the Boat, one of the surprises of the holidays. 3.5 million bucks for another weekend is pretty good. People go into this, families, sports movie fans, George Clooney fans. He directs this. So there's The Boys in the Boat. And rounding out your top 10 this weekend, a film that just flopped. The Book of Clarence. Nobody wanted to go see this. 2.6 million. I thought the movie might get a little awards attention, and Sony sneaks it in before the end of the year. It had screened in places since October, I think, but they decided just to open it in January, and nobody went. Nobody went to the Book of Clarence. Right behind it, The Iron Claw added 2.4 million. It's getting close to 30, and it's already A24's sixth biggest movie of all time. With 1.9 million this weekend, a couple films. One is American Fiction, which is up to more than 5 million now as it keeps expanding. Amazon MGM hopes that this gets a Best Picture nomination. I think it's going to happen. It's getting a little iffy, but the SAG nominations helped. I'm going to mention Poor Things in a second, so I'll get to Scott's comment. Another 1.9 million for The Color Purple, which is up to 57.9. 18 million day one. And then the rest since. I mean, that's a huge chunk from day one. Color Purple doing okay, but not stellar. Poor Things added 1.8 million this weekend. It's at 17.3. I can't believe Poor Things is going to end up making more money than The Holdovers. That is just crazy to me. Scott Stallion, do you like Emma Stone? Have you seen The Curse? I like Emma Stone a lot. I think she's been one of the best actresses of the last 10, 15 years. When you look at Easy A, of course, the breakthrough performance, The Help, the Spider-Man movies, the Croods movies, Birdman, La La Land, The Favorite, and now you have this, which could earn her her second Academy Award, among other movies. She's been in some other good movies. But this movie's terrible. Poor Things is just awful. But Poor Things, as I wrote on Twitter this morning, has averaged nearly $1.9 million over its last 5 weekends and nearly $2.05 million over its past 4. The average has been strong. People are very interested in seeing this movie. Not just the Golden Globe wins from the last weekend and the fact that Emma Stone is the star of it, but I think there's a curiosity factor and either people love it or hate it. It looks so weird. I gotta go. I gotta go see this movie. So that's why people are going. The per screen average is over $3,000 this weekend for Poor Things, which is pretty high for its 5th or 6th weekend in release. So people are intrigued by this movie and they're going to it. And even though it's a really bad film, like at times it's like repulsive. I just, why didn't this movie, 10 years ago, this movie would have been on Showtime at 3 a.m. And yet here's a major studio like Disney and Searchlight putting this out mainstream. And it's just, some of it is shocking. Just shocking. It's a horrible film. But it's making money, and it'll probably win some Academy Awards. And could win tonight at Critics' Choice. But I'll give you my thoughts on that in a second. I want to mention a couple other movies. I have not seen I saw a little of The Curse. I didn't love how it was going, so I didn't stick with it. Few other movies. Zone of Interest is closing in on $1 million so far. It'll make more money as A24 expands it. It goes wide Feb 2. All of Us Strangers added $500,000. It's over $1.5 million. That's a movie that expands this Friday, along with Freud's Last Session starring Anthony Hopkins. Is that all of them? That might be all of them. Oh, Oppenheimer came back in IMAX this weekend. $327,000. It adds to its total, which was $326,100. It's now $326,400. And some theaters only had it one showing per day because of other movies being in the IMAX. So another re-release for Oppenheimer. You know what's getting re-released this Friday? Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which Sony not only hopes for an animated feature nomination, but maybe a Best Picture nomination from the Oscars. We will see. The Oscar voting is going on right now, and we will see what happens. Yeah, I got you, Scott. Yeah, I knew the Showtime TV show The Curse. Yes. I started it, but I didn't love where it was going, so I didn't stick with it. So Spider-Verse coming back to theaters to give that movie a little more money. We will see how it does with the Oscar nominations a week from Tuesday. Got a bunch of Annie Awards nominations the other day, but Nimona led the way with 9 nominations. Disney and Pixar did not get in Best Animated Feature. I was surprised. I thought at least one of them would, preferably Elemental. I think Elemental is a better movie than Wish. I like the music in Wish. I like the music in Elemental a lot too. Elemental is a stronger movie. I am very surprised that neither of them got in Best Animated Feature from the Annie Awards. Critics' Choice picks coming up, but I gotta tell you, I've seen some movies that open this week. Founders Day, horror film, terrible. Just terrible. Lame. Just kind of lame. I.S.S. I don't think I'm allowed to give opinion until tomorrow, but I.S.S. is this new space thriller action movie with Ariana DeBose. I watched it close to a month ago, like 3 to 4 weeks ago. It's from Gabriella Cowperthwaite, who directed Blackfish. And let me tell you something about Blackfish. This was the SeaWorld movie about the orcas. I will never forget seeing Blackfish in New York City. And I walk out of the theater and I am just stunned. I mean, I put it at number 2 for my movies for that year. It just blew me away with what it had to do and what it had to say and the overwhelming amount of things it had against SeaWorld. It just kept going and going and going. It was just unbelievable. And I remember walking outside. It was near a theater, near a park. And I was walking around the park. And all of a sudden, this guy comes up to me and goes, "Hey, are you Lights Camera Jackson?" I mean, I'm in New York City. You know, it was crazy. It was wild. And that was 10 and a half years ago. So, yes, I will never forget that experience of just being like, what just happened? And then this guy's like, "Hey, are you Lights Camera Jackson?" It was a nice encounter. Okay, let's see. Primetime Emmys is tomorrow night. We'll see what happens with the TV categories. Of course, the TV categories represented tonight at Critics' Choice as well. As far as the movie categories go, and then I'll talk about Origin for a minute. The movie categories, look, this could go in any different direction, but it's a Barbenheimer battle. I think Oppenheimer could win Best Picture, but do not be surprised if it's Barbie. Based on the Golden Globe wins and where we're at in the award season, Christopher Nolan will probably win Director. Actor, flip a coin. It could go to Cillian Murphy, could go to Paul Giamatti. I could see it going either way. Actress, I mean, probably Lily Gladstone, but maybe Emma Stone. I'll be surprised if it's somebody else. But again, you never know. Could be Carey Mulligan. A lot of love for Carey Mulligan. Critics' Choice, remember, gave Carey Mulligan Best Actress for Promising Young Woman a few years ago. Could she win again? We will see. Supporting Actor, probably Downey Jr., although Charles Melton, who did not get a SAG nomination, could be some love for Charles Melton. So that could be a surprise upset, could boost his Oscar chances. This is big right now. People are going to be watching tonight and who are Academy members to see what happens. Supporting Actress, I think if Emily Blunt gets the Oscar nomination, that's the win for her because she's never been nominated, which is just absolutely insane. She should be a 4-time nominee and at least a 1-time winner by now of the Academy Award. You know, Mary Poppins, Quiet Place, Devil Wears Prada, Young Victoria, Girl on the Train. Yeah, she should have 4 or 5 nominations and at least 1 Oscar win by now. It's just insane. Hopefully she finally gets nominated. She's not going to win tonight. It'll probably go to Divine Joy Randolph, maybe Daniel Brooks in an upset. Animated feature, flip a coin, Spider-Verse or Boy and the Heron. I think critics could go with Spider-Verse instead of Boy and the Heron, and that'll be a good battle the rest of award season. Best song, could go to a different Barbie song. I could see I'm Just Ken winning this, which I thought was going to win last Sunday at the Globes. And then, best comedy could be American Fiction, or instead of The Holdovers or Poor Things. That'll be interesting. Acting ensemble, maybe it'll match up with a SAG nominee or winner. Maybe it won't. That's happened before, right? Glass Onion, I think. So we'll see. Critics' Choice tonight, 7 o'clock. Chelsea Handler's back as host. Getting the See Her Award is America Ferrera. Getting the Career Achievement Award is Harrison Ford. Honestly, I'd be embarrassed to say something LOL, said Scott Stallion. All right. Maybe talking about Poor Things. I'm not sure. I want to mention Origin. Ava DuVernay's new movie with Ingenue Ellis-Taylor. It opens officially Friday. It screened in New York and LA on December 8. It had Regal nationwide pay-per-view screenings last Monday. This is a good film. Is it perfect? No, but it's ambitious as heck. I love the confident direction from Ava DuVernay. Ingenue Ellis-Taylor is great. She should be nominated for the Oscar for Best Actress. That would be a great surprise nominee. John Bernthal's good. The best I've ever seen Niecy Nash-Betts. If Audra McDonald was in it for more than the 4 minutes she's in, if she was in like 2 more scenes, she's on that Best Supporting Actress ballot. No question about it. It's a good film. It's a challenging movie. It's a movie that makes you work. Origin opens Friday. I talk more about it with Mike Sargent on our next Too Fast, Two Films podcast episode, which will be available soon at toofast2films.com. We review Origin. We talk about what works and what doesn't. And we review Lift, the new Kevin Hart movie on Netflix, what works and doesn't about that as well. So that'll be up soon on the website. I'll have my thoughts on I.S.S. tomorrow or later in the week, and some more movies will open next weekend, the 26th. There's not a lot, but we'll talk about that next time we do LCJ Live, which could be Saturday. So keep it to my social media for that update. And enjoy the Critics' Choice Awards tonight. As many of you probably know, The Holdovers was my #1 movie of the year, so I hope The Holdovers does really well tonight. Picture, director for Alexander Payne, actor for Paul Giamatti, supporting actress for Divine Joy Randolph, young actress for Dominic Sessa, screenplay. I hope it does really well. We'll see what happens. And yeah, should be a fun show. Hope it is. And to all my friends and colleagues who are out there tonight for it, have a good time. And when we're back here next time on LCJ Live, we will see how Mean Girls and Beekeeper do week 2. They could have big drops, especially Mean Girls could have a big drop. #1 movie could be a low-grossing movie next weekend, whether it's Mean Girls or something else. And we'll talk about some other movies. There's a film called The Kitchen that Daniel Kaluuya directed, which I'm going to check out this week from Netflix. I've heard good things. And we'll preview some more movies. We'll get into more of award season. I can vote for the SAG Awards winners starting Wednesday, so I think I'm going to do that. And we'll talk more about where we're at in the movie and TV and entertainment world. Thank you for watching today's episode of LCJ Live. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Subscribe to youtube.com/LightsCameraJackson. The website is lights-camera-jackson.com. I'm on Twitter at LCJ Reviews, Instagram at LightsCamJackson. More Q&As with the directors of the Oscar shortlisted animated shorts are available at animationscoop.com. LCJ Q&A podcast episode with Zach Woods is going to be available in about a week. And great stream, thanks, says Porch Fan. I appreciate that. Thank you. I hope you enjoy Critics' Choice tonight, and I'll see you next time for LCJ Live. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you so much. Peace out. Thank you, Scott. Thank you to everybody who commented. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.